Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen today, I wanted to talk a little bit about SOFI Technologies Incorporated. This is ticker symbol SOFI. Ticker symbol exact same as the company name. They make it nice and easy for you. But with that being said, the reason why we're talking about this one is today was not a great day for SOFI, but this is still a very, very popular stock. This is one that has a pretty passionate following. People really love following this one. People really believe in this stock for the long term. It has a really, really nice kind of shareholder base, like a good foundation. And it's very volatile. There's always a ton of news. It's a really fun one to follow, and that's why we've been following it now for like almost 4 months on this channel. Obviously today, down 3.8%, down another almost, 0.62% after hours. So a rough day, but this was a rough day for the markets in general. Dow Jones is down, S&P's down big, Nasdaq's down just 3.62%. That's insane. That's a massive, especially once we're already down what we're down in 2022, and then the Russell is also down. So this was crazy, and yeah, I mean, obviously this SOFI underperformed a lot of the indices. They were down even further than a lot of the indices were, or all the indices, but that's kind of the story for SOFI. It's going to follow the market both directions. When the market's up, hopefully it'll be up even more. But when the market's down, it's going to be beat down even more, especially as a money-losing company at the moment, and a company that is very, forward-looking, growth-dependent, a lot of that. But in this video today, we'll be going over what is going on with SOFI. What are people saying? What's the news? What's the latest? So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate that a ton. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. As always, there's going to be no financial advice in this video. We're not telling you guys to buy, sell, anything like that. But with that being said, let's get right into this one. So, SOFI down massively year to date, down almost 40%. Now this has been rough. $10 was a nice little safe haven we had been finding for a while. We'd only briefly broken $10 here, like when the Russia-Ukraine stuff first kicked off. We kind of bounced back, but now that we have broken $10, this is going to scare a lot more people out. This is really not what people want to see, and all over the internet, the market in general right now is very, very confusing, but people are also very, very confused about SOFI as well. I know this is funny. Within the last couple of days on the Motley Fool, they wrote this. They said, will SOFI stock get back to its all-time highs in 2022? Obviously, the all-time highs that they're talking about are like 26, 25, 25.14 is the all-time high, right around there, at least maybe a little bit higher. I know Google doesn't always do the best job, but it's like 25 or 26 is the all-time high. So you're saying, is it going to get back there in 2022? That would be almost like a 3x almost increase from where we are at today, sitting below $10. So that's going to be a little bit rough. That's probably going to be challenging considering it's already March, but it's definitely not impossible. But they did, post this video, and this article is just kind of a summary of the video where they say, now might be the perfect opportunity to buy into SOFI, to start a position in SOFI, and obviously they have no idea, who knows, but this is just at least what one person or group of people or whatever is saying. But then also, you have the Motley Fool saying this: is SOFI's guidance for 2022 really that strong? Now, obviously, this is two different people. Obviously, Motley Fool is not one person. It's a website where a bunch of people can write opinion pieces and all that. But it just shows that people have very, very differing opinions, because what they ultimately find out, or what they ultimately say at the end of this article, it says, hey, is the guidance strong? This is obviously talking about the guidance that came out of that quarter 4 2021 earnings report for the 2022 guidance. This guy says, hey, I'm sure there's varying interpretations, but I feel like the guidance here is a bit light. So, obviously, since that earnings report's come out, the stock has just gone down and down and down like it did previously. So, yeah, there's people on both sides. Now, it is hard to kind of separate SOFI from the market as a whole, because the market as a whole has been going down, and SOFI has been going down. So is it because SOFI sucks? Is it because people don't believe in SOFI anymore? Or is it just kind of the market conditions that we're in right now? It can be hard to differentiate the two. But I do know that for people who love SOFI, who believe in it over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, these are the best prices you've ever been able to get. We're pretty much at all-time lows. We're now below the IPO price. We're very, very close to the 52-week lows that were just hit, like a week ago. We're, maybe 10% off the all-time lows, or the 52-week lows. Like, you're not getting you've never seen it much cheaper than this. If you've been buying SOFI at any time previously in the past, you're getting a discount on those shares today. And really not a lot has changed in terms of like negativity or negative news, except for, share dilution and stuff like that's been kind of scaring people. But Some of the latest news, SOFI was started out as neutral by Piper Sandler. You can see here in this tweet, they have a $12 price target. Analyst sees both negatives and positives. And this is just funny because, when SOFI was having these crazy run-ups, everyone was having strong guidance. Everyone was hyped up. Everyone was excited about SOFI. The price targets were 15, 18, 20, 22, 25. But now as the stock price has just gone down and down and down, even though they've had really not the craziest earnings report you've ever seen in the last earnings report, but overall a very strong earnings report. They had record earnings, record revenue. They had a lot of great things. They got their bank charter done. Ton of awesome catalysts, a ton of great news, but now just because the share price has been tanking, now everyone's downgrading. Now everyone's recognizing the negatives. It's just funny how that works. When the market's going up, everyone can find the positives, everyone can find the good stuff, everyone has nothing but good things to say. And then when the market as a whole is going down, now all of a sudden everyone's realizing the negatives about every single stock. So as always, the truth is probably somewhere in between. I don't think SoFi is as amazing as its crazy highs when it's getting overvalued and just exploding. But at least for my, self personally, I don't know if it's necessarily as bad as these disgusting lows where it just gets beat down and beat down and beat down every single day either. Because I can definitely see the potential and promise in this company. But like I said, in this current environment, when you're a money loser, when you're a growth story, it's going to be a little bit rough for you. We also had this, a post comparing the full year results to their 2021 guidance. This guy says he decided to look at the transcript after listening to the earnings call 3 times since the earnings report and mark for himself the data that is guided in the 2021 guidance back in January of 2021 and then compare it. And this can obviously give us a little bit of information of just how good SoFi's guidance is. How accurate is it? How well did they predict 2021? And maybe we can use that to predict how well they're going to be able to predict 2022. And that's, saying predict 50 times. But I thought this was a very good and interesting post. When it comes to the actual results, SoFi made $1.01 billion adjusted net revenue and $30 million in adjusted EBITDA. Both of those beat their guidance for 2021, $980 million and $27 million. But when I looked at the 2022 guidance, there is a change. The guidance for revenue was increased by $70 million, I guess mostly Technesis, I don't know, from 1.5 to 1.57. But as opposed to the revenue increase, EBITDA guidance was actually reduced and quite a bit, 30% reduction in guidance to be exact. From $254 million, which was guided before, to $180, which was guided in the earnings call. That is a $74 million lowered adjusted EBITDA, even though revenue was raised by $70 million. Even if we take into account this higher adjusted EBITDA in the quarter 1 2022, if student loans weren't paused, that is still overall lowering. Is this an indication to how much money Technesis is losing? Just trying to figure out how come revenue guidance raised by adjusted EBITDA lowered, and some people also have these same concerns, being like, hey, I have the same concern about EBITDA. People haven't dove into the numbers. We'll have to see as people dive into this more. But hey, it just shows at least some of the potential concerns and stuff for SoFi headed in the future. But what I did think one of the most positives was, one of the biggest stories was that if there is one kind of main green flag that I'm going off of, it was this, the fact that Anthony Noto, CEO of SoFi, bought 15,000 shares at $9.69 on March 4th. And that is pretty much the price we are at right now. We are at 962. So we're a little bit below that right now. He's down on the shares he bought on March 4th. But obviously, Anthony Noto has a huge stake in SoFi. 15,000 shares at the end of the day is not that much to him. But the fact that, one, it might be symbolic or ceremonious or whatever, but also he feels comfortable putting his money where his mouth is at these prices. He thinks he is going to get a great return on this stock, on these shares at this price. And that means, he doesn't think it's overvalued. That means he doesn't see this thing crashing down. That means he doesn't think this is going to be a bad investment or that we're going to 8, 7, 6, 5, whatever in the future. He thinks we're going above 969 and not just above, or I guess 996, but way above that. This is a great sign. You love when your CEO's buying the dip. You love when they're actually believing in the companies, because there's so many CEOs, there's so many leaders out there who are dumping shares, selling and selling and selling, telling you, hey, look at all the great stuff we're doing. And then behind the scenes, they're selling. But if he's actually buying, that I do think is a great sign, because obviously he has a ton of inside knowledge. He knows what they're going to be doing. And now he's also incentivized to help out those shareholders as well. Because I know a lot of people have been worried, scared and stuff about share dilution and everything recently and some of the numbers or whatever. But Obviously, Anthony NOTO is a believer. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SOFI. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date, and all my latest content. Hopefully, I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.